Om Namo Bhagavate Vasudevaya. Om Namo Bhagavate Vasudevaya. Srimad Bhagavatam, Canto 10, Chapter 52, Text 37 onwards. We'll chant it together. Shri Rukminyuvacha Shrutva Gunan Bhuvana Sundara Shunvatante And now we can chant it together. Nirvishya Karna Vivarair Haratongatapam Rupam Drisham Drishimatam Akhilarthalabham Tvaya Chuta Vishati Chetamapatrapam me Katva Mukunda Mahati Kulashila Rupa Vidya Vayo Dravinadham Abhiratmatulyam Dhirapatim Kulavati Navrinita Kanya Kalendra Simhanaralokamanobhira Tanme Bhavan Khalu Vrita Patirangajayam Atmarpitascha Bhavatotra Vibho Vidhehi Mavira Bhagamabhimar Shatu Chedya Arat Gomayuvan Mrigapater Palimam Bujaksha Purteshta Datta Niyama Vrata Deva Vipra Gurvarchanadi Viralam Bhagavan Pareshah Aradhito Yadi Gadagrajayetya Panim Grannatu me Nadamaghosha Sutadayonye Shvobhavini Tvamajitodvahane Vidarbhan Gupta Sametya Pritana Patibe Paritaha Nirmathya Chaidya Magadhendra Balam Prasahya Mam Rakshasena Vidhinod Vahavirya Shulkam Antapurantara Manihatya Bandhun Tvamudvahe Kathamiti Pravadamyupayam Purvedyurasti Mahati Kuladeva Yatra Yasyam Bahirnavavadhur Girijamupeya Yasyangri Pankajarajasnapanam Mahanto Vanchantyumapatirvatmatamopahatyai Yaryambujakshanalabheya bhavat prasadam Jahyamasun vratakrushan shatajanmabhisyat Ajnanatimirandhasya jnananjanashalakaya Chakshurunmilitam yena tasmai Shri Gurave Namaha Shri Chaitanya Manobhishtam Sthapitam yena bhutale Swayam Rupa Kada Mahyam Dadati Swapadantikam Nama Om Vishnupadaya Krishna Pristhaya Bhutale Shri Mate Bhakti Vedanta Swami Niti Namine Namaste Saraswate Deve Gauravani Pracharine Nirvishesha Shunyavadi Paschatya Deshatarine Jaya Shri Krishna Chaitanya Prabhu Nityananda Shri Advaita Gadadhar Shrivasadi Gaura Bhakta Vrinda Hare Krishna, Krishna Krishna Hare 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 Rama, Hare Rama, Rama Rama, Hare Hare. Ridhi yasya prernaya pravartitoham varakarupopi tasya harehe padakamalam vande chaitanya devasya vancha kalpatarubhyascha kripa sindhubhya evacha patitanam pavanebhyo vaishnavebhyo namo namaha. Hare Krishna. King Kulashekara has glorified Sri Krishna so beautifully by saying, Dara Varat Karavarasuta. O Krishna, you are the best. So Krishna asks, why am I the best? Dara Vara Karavarasuta. Your wife is the daughter of the ocean, Sindhu Kanyapate. Which means, the understanding is from the churning of the milk ocean, Lakshmi appeared. Or another way to understand is Lakshmi in the form of pearls lives in the oyster found on the bed of the ocean. So the ocean is the father and Lakshmi is the daughter. O Krishna, your wife is the daughter of the ocean, which means you have married the goddess of fortune. So you have the best wife. And te tanujo virinchi. And you have the best son, because from your navel comes the lotus, and from the lotus sprouts the creator of the whole creation, Brahma. Imagine having a son who is the creator of the whole universe. That's Brahma, and that's Krishna's son. So Kulashekara says, you have the best wife in the form of Lakshmi. You have the best son in the form of Brahma. And Stota Vedas. And who are your fans? On the four sides, you have the four Vedas, who are fanning you as your fans, which means they are constantly glorifying you. People like to have fans in this world, but they are also, the celebrities are also mere mortal and the fans are also mere mortal. But Krishna is so great that the four Vedas who are eternal, they from four sides, they fan the Supreme Lord with glorification. So who is the wife for the Supreme Lord? Goddess of fortune, Lakshmi. Who's the son? The creator of the whole creation, Brahma. Who are the fans? The ones who praise? The four Vedas. Stota Vedas Tavas Suragana Bhritya Varga. And who are the personal servants? 330 million demigods. It's quite an aristocratic position the Supreme Lord is in. Indra, Chandra, all the great controllers, Surya, Agni, Vayu, the Panchamahabhutas, they are all servants of Sri Hari. And the Vedas are glorifying him. Aham adishcha madhyamcha bhutanam anta evacha. Krishna says in the Gita, Aham atma gudakesha sarva bhutashayastitaha. What comes after that? Aham adishcha madhyamcha bhutanam anta evacha. Krishna says in the Gita that I am in the middle, but not just the middle, I'm the beginning and also the end of everything. Vede, Ramayane chaiva, Purane, Bharate tatha, Ado ante cha madhye cha Hari sarvatra giyate. Hari gets glorified in the beginning, middle and end of the four Vedas, the Puranas, the Itihasas, the Upanishads, the Mahabharata, the Ramayana. What a position to have. Your wife is the goddess of fortune. Your son Brahma is the first being who is the creator of the creation. The four Vedas, which are the ultimate source of authority, they are your fans. All the controllers in this world are your personal servants. Dara vara karavarasuta te tanujo virinchi stota vedas tava suragana bhritya vargaha. And now when you shower mercy on someone, prasadaha, what happens? Mukti. That living entity gets freed from the bondage of illusion of repeated birth and death. And that's your prasad. That's your mercy. When someone in this world gives prasad or some kind benediction, they will give a down jacket or something. They'll give a dhoti or a kurta or a fleece jacket or whatever. That's all. But whatever they give keeps us in illusion. It's like when someone is imprisoned in the jail. The best gift that the person maximum gets is maybe an extra shaving foam or an extra body wash. Right? That's the best he gets. But imagine if the jailer comes and says, well, today's your birthday, I want to release you from this prison. Well, that's the actual gift. So every benediction that we get in this world, it's like we continue to live in the prison house, but the gifts that we receive are like shaving foam and body wash and things which keep us comfortable in the prison. But when Sri Krishna showers mercy, mukti, he can liberate one from repeated birth and death. And what if when he has to show magic, what kind of magic can we show? Maybe some card tricks? Yeah? Or what's the best we can? I remember in our childhood, the best magic that we were taught is to show how the fingers switch. You remember? Did you see? How is that possible? And my father would impress me with that trick. And I would think, how is it even possible? Like he would take his fingers this way, where this finger is shorter and this is the longer one. And he would go like this and flip it very quickly with these two. And I said, did you see? Now the shorter one comes to the left and the longer one. I'm like, what just happened? That's the kind of magic that we see in this world, or maybe like a street magic or a card trick, or that's it. Disappearing, taking a rabbit out of a hat or something. But when the Lord wants to show magic, muktir maya jagada vikalam, he shows the illusion where there is no joy, and everyone for all times to come believes that there is joy. And who is his mother? Tavaki Devaki te. The most merciful mother who even after losing so many babies continued to pray for Kamsa. Oh Krishna, that's your mother. And the best friend you can ask for, Gandhivdhari Arjun, the son of Indra, who could conquer the whole Kaurava army in one day. Such a powerful fighter. Kulashekara, after counting all these, as we say, count your blessings, he's counting the blessings on the Lord. Right? And then at the end he says, Tattva anyam na jane. I don't know anyone apart from you, my Lord, because you're so wonderful. What else can I speak about you? Everything about you is so wonderful. Ashcharyam, adbhutam. It's phenomenally astounding. How great can someone be? Isn't it amazing that the whole cosmic creation, which is so beautiful, we take so many flights to reach from one place to another, but we still continue to be in one place, just going from one continent to another maybe. But all of that and beyond was shown on a chariot to Arjun. Imagine Krishna's expanding this way and the feet are still on the chariot. Arjun's seeing the demigods, he's seeing the demons, he's seeing the time factor, he's seeing the waterfalls, the mountains, the ocean, the stars, the cosmic creation, but still the feet of the Lord are still on that chariot. It's not that he's exploding this way, he's just like a banyan tree. And what's even more amazing, he could encapsulate all of that in this small amount to Mother Yashoda. How great is the Supreme Lord? It's Ashcharyam, it's Adbhutam. When we think about how great he is, many times just by hearing these stories again and again, we think, I've heard this before. But if you actually just pause and think how amazing that is, what did I just say? Dancing on the hoods of the slippery heads of Kaliya? Now, people like me can't even dance on a straight floor. Now, what if that floor starts to move? And now what if it starts to slip and move? And what if it's cupped, slippery and moving, and poisonous at the same time? And unlimited and disconnected? It's almost like he has to play a game jumping from one hood to another. And the Lord does it, not fearfully. What's going to happen to me? Not like this, right? It's graceful. He's dancing, he's holding his dhoti, he has the mudras and he has the right gestures and the facial expressions. In South India, there's a whole, Kalinga Nartanam. There's a whole dance based on Krishna's dance on the hoods of the Kaliya snake. It was so graceful that there's a whole classical performance, right? How amazing. Rukmini is counting these qualities. And she says, Krishna, how amazing are you? Mahati kulashila rupa. Kula, family lineage. What were some examples we gave for that? Anyone remembers? Krishna comes in a family lineage. Shibi Chakravarti. What else do we remember? Devaki, Mother Devaki, right? And there's so many more. This is the Chandra Vamsha. Prabhupada in Srimad Bhagavatam, in one purport writes, I was reading this purport last evening. I wanted to find more information on Krishna's moon dynasty, lunar dynasty. So I found a purport of Srila Prabhupada, where Srila Prabhupada writes, the moon dynasty is so exalted that at one point, there were 10,000 members who became brahmacharis. That dynasty is so exalted. Prabhupada writes in a purport, and I can share the reference for those who are interested. Prabhupada writes, Krishna's lunar dynasty is so exalted that at one point, 10,000 members became brahmacharis. Also, another example that we can quote is Maharaj Pururava. Right? Now, how many of us have heard of Maharaj Pururava in the Bhagavatam? Okay, so Pururava many times gets associated to getting attracted to Urvashi, right? So many times when we say Krishna is in the same lunar dynasty as great personalities like Maharaj Pururava, we're like, oh no, not great personalities. Pururava got attracted to Urvashi. That's the only thing we know about him. Imagine, Pururava would never imagine that thousands and thousands of years later in a place called ISKCON of Round Rock, we will be sitting, and when we think of his name, oh, he's the one who got attracted to Urvashi. No, that's not the only thing he did in life. One time, one sannyasi was giving class, and in the Q&A, one boy asked him a question. He said, what happened to Dhruva Maharaj or something like that? And the sannyasi said, oh, he went straight to Vaikuntha. And the boy frowned. Bus? Only to Vaikuntha? We get so used to talking about Goloka Vrindavan, Goloka Vrindavan, Goloka Vrindavan. The sannyasi was sincerely trying to explain Dhruva Maharaj was so austere that he went straight to Vaikuntha. And the boy said, bus? As if Vaikuntha was like the next door neighbor. Vaikuntha is a very exalted place. Who can go there? Katham Vishnu Padam Proktam. Shastra says it's the most difficult thing to do to actually reach Vaikuntha. So many times, because of over familiarity, like we know Goloka Vrindavans, we kind of belittle every other dham. Right? We say Chaitanya Mahaprabhu is merciful, so nobody else is merciful. We don't get to hear so much about the mercy of other incarnations. So similarly, we don't hear so much about Pururava's greatness. That every time we hear Pururava, oh, Urvashi. But that's not the only thing. Like Ajamil, for example. Nobody remembers all the good yajnas that he performed. Ajamil, oh, he fell down. That's the only thing he did in life. So Maharaj Pururava, just to bring the context, he was born in the lunar dynasty. And he was so great and so capable that Urvashi from heaven heard of his qualities and came down to earth searching for him. Can you imagine? Can you imagine being so great that Urvashi, now there's a backstory to Urvashi. Naranarayan Rishi was the incarnation of Krishna and Arjuna ultimately. Naranarayan Rishi were meditating, and Apsaras were sent to break his meditation, thinking that, oh, he's going to be the next Indra. Indra feels everyone who's chanting the holy name is going to become the next Indra. There's actually, I'm repeating Shastra, so I'll just say it. There's an example given in Tulsi Ramayana. Narad Muni starts to meditate, and Indra feels, oh, Narada wants to become the next Indra. Now, Narada is dancing in Vaikuntha, right? Why does he want to become the next Indra? But he just sits to meditate, and Indra feels, quote unquote, insecure. To teach us a lesson, of course. All glories to Indra Bhagavan. He doesn't feel insecure, but he's teaching us a lesson. So he sends some apsaras down. And the apsaras are dancing with Cupid, and they're playing some ball games and showing some flags and festoons to attract his attention. And Narad Muni is just undisturbed. Indra is getting even more insecure. And at the end of it all, they all surrender to Narad Muni. Narad Muni says, I forgive you, go back to Indra now. At that point, Narada tells Indra, look, there's a saying, says Narada Muni, there's a saying. When a lion comes, dogs hide their bone. The dogs try to hide the bone, thinking that the lion wants the bone. Narad Muni said, I am like the lion, you're behaving like a dog. You think I need your bone, the position? The Lord who gave you that position, I worship his abode. So in this mood, Naranarayan Rishi, Naranarayan Rishi were meditating, and when apsaras were sent to break their meditation, they were undisturbed. At the end of it, Naranarayan Rishi said, these apsaras are so weak-willed. What can they do? Instead, I'll give you a powerful apsara. Naranarayan Rishi, on the power of his meditation, created Urvashi and gifted Indra. Said, you don't have good apsaras in your abode to attract. I'll give you a good one. He created Urvashi. So therefore, Urvashi is the most beautiful and most attractive dancer and, apsara in Indra's abode. That Urvashi heard the glories of King Pururava, who was the king of earth, and she got attracted and came down. So imagine if that is how great Pururava is. Rukmini Devi is saying, my situation is like that Urvashi, my lord. You are like that Pururava in this lunar dynasty. Kula Shila Rupa. Your dynasty is such that history repeats itself. Please accept me. So with every word and a history behind that word, Rukmini is expressing her heartfelt desire. Also, in the lunar dynasty, there was another king by the name Maharaj Nahusha. Huh? How many of us have heard of Maharaj Nahusha? Yeah, more famous than Pururava. So Maharaj Nahusha, he was the king on earth, and there was no Indra in heaven. So the demigods thought, we don't have an Indra, we should have an Indra. Whom should we select as Indra? Nahusha seems to be the most advanced. So the demigods come on earth and request Nahusha, can you become Indra in heaven? And Nahusha ascends to heaven with the demigods and becomes Indra. And he is from Chandravamsha. So imagine Chandravamsha has Shivi Chakravarti, Chandravamsha has Pururava, Chandravamsha has Nahusha Maharaj, Chandravamsha has 10,000 brahmacharis, Chandravamsha has a compassionate mother like Devaki, and what to speak of Vasudeva Maharaj. Vasudeva Maharaj is so advanced. One name of Vasudeva is Anaka Dundhuvi. Let's repeat. Again. Now, Anaka Dundhuvi are names of instruments. Dundhuvi, nagade ki tarah. So, Anaka Dundhuvi, the trumpet and the drum. Anaka and Dundhuvi. Like this. Krishna has sound effects throughout. So, Anaka and Dundhuvi. So, it's described when Vasudeva Maharaj appeared, he was given the name Anaka Dundhuvi. Why? Because the demigod started playing the trumpet and playing on the drum. There appears Vasudeva. Very soon Krishna is going to appear. So Krishna's father Vasudeva is called Anaka Dundhuvi because demigods celebrated his appearance. That if he appears, very soon the Supreme Lord is appearing. How amazing. Can you imagine how truthful and great Vasudeva Maharaj is that he could convince someone as wicked and envious as Kamsa on the power of truth? Kansa was about to butcher and behead Vasudeva's wife on the day of his marriage. And there is Vasudeva pleading and begging, I will give you every son born to me. And not just a fake, blank fire. It wasn't just a fake bullet. During Diwali, you can have kids in India go with, it's only sound, no bullets. That's called a blank fire. There's only sound, but there's no bullet. Kids play with these firecrackers. So when many times we make our promises, like the initiation vow, for example. Sorry, did I say something wrong? No. Oh, that reminds me. Prabhanu Prabhu. That reminds me. Prabhanu Prabhu has an unbelievable record. You know what the record is? Unbelievable. It's been over 50 years of chanting Hare Krishna, and he hasn't missed his 16 rounds even one day since he gave his word to Srila Prabhupada on the day of Diksha. He was telling me, when I meet Srila Prabhupada, I don't know what I'm going to tell him, but at least I can tell him I tried. He's telling me. Now coming to our initiation vows. So Vasudeva Maharaj never gave blank fires. He kept his word. He told Kamsa, I'll give you every son that's born to me. And on the birth of the first child, Vasudeva becomes a father. He takes the child straight to Kamsa. And Kamsa is so touched. How can you give your own child in the hands of a murderer? No, take back this child. Vasudeva, you're so truthful. Rukmini Devi is saying, if the father is Devaki, if the mother is Devaki and the father is Vasudeva, imagine the child carrying the mother's tolerance and the father's truthfulness. Rukmini Devi is saying, now please keep the truth. What truth? Kaunteya pratijani he name bhakta pranashyati. In the Gita you said, I will always protect my devotees. Rukmini says, I am a devotee here. Oh my dear Lord, Kula, on the basis of your family lineage, please keep the truth. You are the son of Devaki and Vasudeva. Please help me. How much can be said with every word of Srimad Bhagavatam? Just with the connection to the lineage, volumes, rivers and rivers of meanings. Prabhupada writes in one purport, truth spoken concisely. What is that word? Who can tell me? Prabhupada writes in the purport. Something, there's a word, specific word. Prabhupada says, what's that? Eloquence, that's the word. Prabhupada says, eloquence, true eloquence means truth spoken concisely. Eloquence, to be eloquent. Many times we say, oh, he's an eloquent speaker. That means when truth is spoken concisely. So, Srimad Bhagavatam is like that, very eloquent. There's so much written and so little. So that's Kula regarding Krishna's qualities. Is everyone able to remember Krishna and the greatness of his virtues with every word of Srimad Bhagavatam? So this Kula. Now Shila. We were talking about Krishna's Shila. What else can we remember regarding his? What are some examples we spoke about his Shila? Who remembers? Muchakunda Maharaj. When Muchakunda Maharaj asked Krishna, who are you? Krishna said, you don't know who I am? I am Satyam Param Dhimahi. Krishna didn't go like that. He just said, I am the son of Vasudeva. My name is Vasudeva. And it's quite interesting. Muchakunda gave so many options. He never said, are you God? He said, I think you are Surya Dev. You may be Agni. Or maybe you are Chandra. Maybe you are Indra. Krishna didn't say, ha. He didn't start off like that. Sometimes when we get that opportunity, you've seen opportunities like that, people start off with their visiting card. They keep their visiting cards ready, only for an opportunity, and sometimes they create the opportunity and then give it. Oh, you didn't come to the temple? Yeah, I was very busy. You know, I am the managing director of the company and I keep very busy even on Sunday evenings. Right? Prabhu, you were not playing mridanga? Yeah, my hand's hurting. Actually, I just got an Apple Watch on my left hand. So I can't. So I can't play the mridanga. But Krishna wasn't like this. As if the Apple Watch is all that decides whether you can play the boom boom beats on the mridanga, right? So we start off by glorifying ourselves. And actually that's an interesting story there. Yayati Maharaj. How many of us have heard of Yayati Maharaj? Oh, as popular as Nahusha. So Yayati Maharaj once went to heaven. And he was very famous. Now everyone knows Yayati from the 9th canto of Srimad Bhagavatam, right? So Yayati Maharaj was very glorious. He goes to heaven. Now everybody knows Yayati, including Indra. But just to have a little fun, Indra looks at Yayati in heaven. He says, who are you and what are you doing here? What do you think Yayati would say? He said, you're asking me who I am? Why don't you ask the demigods? Everybody in heaven knows me except you. And you don't know who I am? And then Yayati goes on a rampage, describing pages after pages of the yajnas he has performed and how many, so many pious activities, philanthropic activities and revolutionary activities that he has done. And as he's speaking, you can see his piety is getting destroyed. As he continues to glorify himself, the pious deeds that he has amassed over so many lifetimes all slowly start getting destroyed, and at one point he just falls back to earth because of loss of punya. But fortunately, his sons are performing yajna here on earth. So Yayati goes almost falling into that fire kund from heaven. It's so hilarious. Imagine you go up to heaven and everyone knows you and Indra knows you and he's playing a trick and he's asking who you are and you continue glorifying yourself in heaven. What did you do in heaven? I spent 10 minutes. What did you do there? Spoke about myself. And then what happened? I came back. He fell straight into the fire of the yajna kund that his sons were performing yajna. But fortunately at that point, the sons who were performing the yajna, they said, oh dear Vishnu, all the credit that we have accumulated through our yajna, may it go back to our father. Went back to heaven. So this is heaven. It's almost like getting into an elevator and sometimes you're on the 15th floor and sometimes Kshine Punya Martelokam Vishanti, you come back. Right? So this is what happens when we speak about ourselves. So it's always best that we don't speak about ourselves. One time in interesting true story. How many of us have heard of Swarup Damodar Prabhu, the famous singer? Yeah, everyone's heard of his Vaishnava songs. Yeah, we grew up hearing his Brahma Samhita and Tulsi Arti. So one time, His Holiness Radhanath Maharaj, who is the guru of Swarup Damodar Prabhu, was sitting with one of his godbrothers. Now the godbrother didn't know Swarup Damodar Prabhu's guru was Srila Radhanath Maharaj. So Srila Radhanath Maharaj was sitting with his godbrother and the godbrother told Radhanath Maharaj, Maharaj, there's this devotee called Swarup Damodar Prabhu. And he sings such sweet bhajans. You should hear them. And Maharaj said, yes, he certainly sings so sweetly and I think he's also a very good devotee. So this godbrother didn't know the connection, of course. Later he got to know, well, Swarup Damodar Prabhu is an initiated disciple of Radhanath Maharaj. So he came back to Radhanath Maharaj and said, Maharaj, you never told me he's your disciple. Maharaj said, he is not my disciple. He considers me as his guru. Because how Maharaj was feeling, this would be breach of etiquette to tell, yeah, of course, Swarup Damodar, he is my disciple. Vaishnava etiquette is not about. So Maharaj said, yes, he sings so beautifully and he's also a wonderful Vaishnava. So this teaches us that even when there's the most sweetest, juicy, nectarian ambrosial, slippery opportunity to glorify oneself. To hold on and not do it is actual Vaishnava culture. And Krishna does that over and over and over and over again. But then he compensates for all of that in the Gita. He goes on saying, I am this, I am that, But that's also out of... Kunj Bihari heard it. Kunj Bihari is like, okay, now I'm going to open the curtains on him. There's another interesting story that I'm remembering of His Holiness Radhanath Maharaj in connection to talking about oneself. Maharaj had come to one of the places in North America, no names. I wouldn't take the name for the sake of it. So Maharaj had visited one of the cities in North America, and he went on a walk with his godbrother. And when they set out for a morning walk, it was a long walk, 2-hour walk, back and forth, from the temple to the park and then back. So Maharaj just happened to ask the godbrother, Prabhu, how did you become a devotee? And this devotee continued to speak for 2 hours, back and forth, throughout the walk, about how he became a devotee. And now it was time for them to come back to the temple. They were at the doorstep of the temple. And the devotee realized, and he told Radhanath Maharaj, Maharaj, I just realized I spent 2 hours speaking about myself. He said, Maharaj, how did you become a devotee? Maharaj looked at him with folded palms and said, Srila Prabhupada's mercy. So the godbrother said, Maharaj, I spoke 2 hours about myself, and when I asked you, you just said 3 words, Srila Prabhupada's mercy. You're so special. Maharaj looked at the godbrother and said, don't forget I wrote a whole book about myself. And he said that to pacify the godbrother, because the godbrother was self-deprecating himself so much that, look, you're so advanced, but I'm so contaminated. So just to kind of make him comfortable, Maharaj said that. So this is quite an important lesson. Sheela, character, means we never put anyone down and we never place ourselves above. Any other examples of Sheela that we saw? During the Rajasuya Yajna, that's a good one. Krishna was actually picking up the plates of the visitors and he was washing the lotus feet of the Brahmanas, the guests. This is Sheela. This is perfect character. Think of Sri Ramachandra, who accepted the reversal as if nothing happened. Think about Krishna to the Pandavas. What wonderful character. It's described, Sarathya Parashada Sevana Sakhya Dautya Virasananu Gamanastavana Pranaman Snigdheshu Pandushu Jagat Pranatim Cha Vishnu Bhaktim Kuruti Nripatis Charanarvinde. The 16th chapter of the first canto Srimad Bhagavatam describes how much love Krishna had for the Pandavas. Even Brihad Bhagavatamrita Srila Sanatan Goswami writes, the position of Maharaj Yudhishthir in Narada Muni's search for the best devotee. Bhagavatam describes Krishna loved the Pandavas so much that Sarathya, he was ready to become the chariot driver for Arjuna. Now in this world, you just catch any multi-millionaire and tell him, can you become my chauffeur? I have a car and you become my chauffeur and my car will be a chauffeur-driven car. And who is the driver of the car? A multi-millionaire. He would never agree to it because he himself has so many chauffeurs for him. And here, Krishna is ready to park his chariot and turn right and turn left and march ahead and also turn back and give some advice in the form of the Gita. So accessible. Sarathya, Parashada. He would sit and honor prasadam with the Pandavas. Sevana. He would sometimes carry water pots for them. Sakhya. He was their friend. Dautya. Krishna was sent as the peace messenger between the two camps. Can you imagine? God mediating between two camps in the same family. Virasana. Krishna carried a sword and stood outside the tent of Yudhishthira Maharaj at night. Yudhishthira Maharaj and the Pandavas were asleep and Krishna would stand with his weapons to protect. Anugamana. As soon as Krishna woke up, he would offer his obeisances to Yudhishthira Maharaj's lotus feet. It is there in the pages of Mahabharata. You can read. Krishna would offer obeisances and touch with his right hand the lotus feet of Yudhishthira Maharaj to his head and offer prayers. And to Bhim and Arjun, he would offer an embrace. And to Nakul and Sahadev, he would give blessings and accept their obeisances. And who is this? Jagat Pranatim Cha Vishnu, whom the whole world bows down as Vishnu. That Vishnu is busy serving the Pandavas. This is Shila. Where the person doesn't make the other person feel the difference in their position. Rupa. We spoke a whole session on that, so we won't elaborate further. Although there's so much more, but we will. Anyway, we'll just say little. The form of the Lord, it's so attractive. Srila Krishnadas Kaviraj Goswami Pad, he mentions Krishna's arms are like pestles. You know pestles? For crushing rice and things like that. Yeah. For crushing grains. That's pestle. So Krishna's arms are like pestles, which crush the grain like demons, or called the battlefield. At the same time, Krishna's arms are like snakes. Srimad Bhagavatam describes Krishna's arms are like snakes. Now, why snake? Because if you see, the snakes have a very thick body, but then they taper towards the end and in the beginning. So they have a thick body in the center, but they taper on the sides. So Krishna's arms are thick, but then they taper down towards the fingers. And they are dark like the snake, and they're smooth and shiny and effulgent like the snake. At the same time, cold like the snake. Anybody who's feeling the heat of distress or the heat of separation can get a lot of rejuvenating coolness from the embrace of Krishna. At the same time, it is described with respect to his friends, the Gopas. Krishna would hide behind trees. And many times as the friends are walking through the forest, Krishna would jump from behind trees and embrace them by force. And sometimes close their eyes and ask the friends, can you guess who this is? And they would touch and they would say, this is my Shyam Sundar. So just like you can see snakes live off trees, and when a traveler passes through a forest, the snake can fall on them anytime. Similarly, Krishna is hiding behind the trees and the forests of Vrindavan. And his arms are like the snakes. They can catch anyone, any of his friends. And at the same time, you know the snake, it can strangulate, right? It can tightly hug. And that's Krishna. If Krishna holds on to his devotee, even if the devotee wants to let go of the embrace, Krishna won't. So that's little about the Roop. Katva Mukunda Mahati Kula Shri Rupa Vidya. How knowledgeable is the Lord? We spoke of the examples of Bhagavad Gita. We spoke of by the way, that reminds, Rupa Goswami Pad says Krishna is Vavadhuka in Bhakti Rasamrita Sindhu. Vavadhuka in Sanskrit means anyone who speaks eloquently, who speaks philosophically deep and grave and meaningful and pleasing words, full of riddles